Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to the Sounds of Coherency. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this. As we continue on and make our way through each day, we try and think of things that can improve the world, things to make life better. And the Democrats have been on this campaign of the Green New Deal. It's been going on for years. And as I said the other day, well, you really don't have any way around it. They're going to force it on you. There's really not much you can do to avoid it, but hope that you survive the transition. It's going to be a rough one. And a lot of people are going to end up poor for it. In this transition, you will have a lot of people that will end up homeless. Because you got to understand, for these policies to work, for them to be able to take the effects that they want, it's going to cost people their livelihoods. You're already seeing it happen with small business closings. Small businesses many of them are not coming back at all, ever. They're done. Because as the government would love it to be, it's hard for them to manage the population when everybody's doing their own thing. We need you to be confined to a single space. So we'll shut down your independent businesses. We'll bring in larger big box stores and corporations, and you can work for them. And we will allow them to provide whatever services you wanted to provide. You see, because we can regulate them in a different way. It's easier for us to do it this way. Now that may seem a little far-fetched, but throughout the years, we have seen the decline of mom and pop businesses and the increase in the corporations taking over in those regions. Now, there's nothing wrong with advancement, but there is something wrong with a purposeful destruction of the independent mindset in order to favor larger companies because they pay more in tax revenue. Now, I know people are going to say, these major corporations don't pay their fair share of taxes. Mind you, if you really thought about how much they actually pay in the tax sphere, if they didn't pay that, and the average citizen had to make up the difference of what they actually pay, most people wouldn't have a dime left to their name. You'd actually be in the negative. So it's just a matter of how you really look at it. Now, granted, you might say they don't pay enough. You can say that. But to say that they don't pay any taxes, or maybe they're not paying their fair share. Now, granted, there's many loopholes that they use. But at the same time, individual citizens also use loopholes. And I don't think that anybody, if they could find a loophole in the giant, massive tax code that the United States has that would benefit them, I don't think that anybody would pass up the opportunity to use it. Because why wouldn't you want to save more money, have more money in your pocket? Let's be honest, nobody's wanting to pay more in taxes. But for things to work like this Green New Deal and such things that all these new social programs that they want to implement, free everything, that's going to require people paying more taxes. Again, I bring it up, but, people forget about the Biden's budget plan, which is rooted out to spend $73 trillion by 2032. $73 trillion. Again, where is this money coming from? Please, let's stop with the whole, oh, well, we're just going to tax the rich. There's not that much money. The nation is already 30 trillion in debt. If that were the case, you'd have been able to pay off that debt. I mean, That's really just not how it works. It really isn't. So, but today I want to go back a few years and I want to bring up Senator Mike Lee from 2019. I know not everybody caught it, but it was absolutely hilarious. And we have to just take a moment to enjoy when you do have good comedic moments on the Senate floor. It doesn't happen very often. Typically, it's when Kennedy is up there and giving his Louisiana remarks. The man is absolutely hilarious. But I digress. Let's just have a little bit of comedic moment from Mike Lee in going over the Green New Deal. And this was just, 2019, man. I hate to say it. I hate to be the one to say it, but we're living through the beginning phases of this. I'll be honest with you. I want to say this much. The nation really can't survive another 2 years of a Democrat-led House, Senate, and, executive office. The nation really can't survive that. There's no way the United States will be able to comfortably come out of this excruciating ordeal that it's being put through over these past couple of years. No, it's going to take a long time for that damage to heal. And God forbid we end up with another 4 years of this. There's no way that the United States will be able to hold itself up. Okay. All right. Enough of that. Let's go ahead and jump right into this.
Senator from Utah.
Mr. President, fear has become an all too prevalent quality in American political discourse. And unfortunately, fear is unavoidable when debating the substance of the resolution before this body today. That is climate change, socialism, and the Green New Deal. On entering this debate, I have a little fear in my heart as well. But, Mr. President, my fear at this moment may be just a little different than that of some of my colleagues. Unlike some of my colleagues, I'm not immediately afraid of what carbon emissions unaddressed might do to our environment in the near-term future, or our civilization, or our planet in the next few years. Unlike others, I'm not immediately afraid of what the Green New Deal would do to our economy and our government. After all, this isn't going to pass. Not today, not anytime soon, certainly. Rather, after reading the Green New Deal, I'm mostly afraid of not being able to get through this speech with a straight face. For Mr. President, I rise today to consider the Green New Deal with the seriousness it deserves. This is, of course, a picture of former President Ronald Reagan naturally firing a machine gun while riding on the back of a dinosaur. You'll notice a couple of important features here. First of all, the rocket launcher strapped to President Reagan's back, and then the stirring, unmistakable patriotism of the velociraptor holding up a tattered American flag, a symbol of all it means to be an American. Now, critics might quibble with this depiction of the climactic battle of the Cold War, because while awesome, in real life there was no climactic battle. There was no battle with or without velociraptors. The Cold War, as we all know, was won without firing a shot. But that quibble actually serves our purposes here today, Mr. President, because this image has as much to do with overcoming communism in the 20th century as the Green New Deal has to do with overcoming climate change in the 21st. The aspirations of the proposal have been called radical, they've been called extreme, but mostly they're ridiculous. There isn't a single serious idea here, not one. To illustrate, let me highlight two of the most prominent goals produced by the plan's authors. Goal number one, The Green New Deal calls essentially for the elimination of airplanes. Now, this might seem merely ambitious for politicians who represent the densely populated northeastern United States. But how is it supposed to work for our fellow citizens who don't live somewhere between Washington, D.C. and Boston? In a future without air travel, how are we supposed to get around the vast expanses of, say, Alaska during the winter? Well, I'll tell you how. Tauntauns, Mr. President. This is a beloved species of reptomammals, native to the ice planet of Hoth. Now, while perhaps not as efficient in some ways as airplanes or as snowmobiles, these hairy bipedal species of space lizards offer their own unique benefits. Not only are tauntauns carbon neutral, but according to a report a long time ago and issued far, far away, they may even be fully recyclable and usable for their warmth, especially on a cold night. What about Hawaii? Isolated 2,000 miles out into the Pacific Ocean. Under the Green New Deal's effective airplane prohibition, how are people there supposed to get to and from the mainland? And how are they supposed to maintain that significant portion of their economy that's based on tourism? At that distance, swimming would, of course, be out of the question, and jet skis are notorious gas guzzlers. No, all residents of Hawaii would be left with is this. This is a picture of Aquaman, a superhero from the undersea kingdom of Atlantis, and notably here, a founding member of the Super Friends. I draw your attention, Mr. President, to the 20-foot impressive seahorse he's riding. Under the Green New Deal, this is probably Hawaii's best bet. Now, I'm the first to admit that a massive fleet of giant, highly trained seahorses would be cool. It would be really, really awesome. But we have to consider a few things. We have no idea about scalability or domestic capacity in this sector.
He's right. I mean, it's going to be hard to really manage a massive, giant fleet of giant seahorses. And I know that seems, he's going exaggerated with it. Those were notes and such attached to the Green New Deal that they didn't mean to send out in their press release, but they did. Oh, boy. It further goes on to say that they want to get rid of cows, basically. They want to remove cattle, make the numbers almost insignificant. It's funny. They want to do that. We have to protect the environment. Cows are destroying the land. The grazing. And then cows don't really graze on that much federal land like that. What's hilarious is that in their big effort to want to save everything, it requires the destruction of everything. And it's such as the rainforest. And that's one of the things about the Amazon rainforest. It's largely being destroyed for soy farms. And what they're doing is burning. So nothing's coming back. Why? Because it needs soy. Why? Because, those tofu burgers and Impossible burgers and Beyond burgers don't just pop up out of nowhere. If you're going to eat vegetable-based foods, it requires vegetables and it requires more land for all that stuff. And it's funny to me that people think that eating processed garbage like that is a lot better for you than just having a steak. And yeah, fresh vegetables are great. They are amazing and excellent. But I don't know, dietary needs are not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. You know what I mean? But that's a whole different conversation, but the point of the matter is that yes, they are chopping them down for soy, but not just soy farms. See, it goes even further than that. Turns out that, and I'm looking at El País, the website, and they got a very nice article about how the wind power boom is driving deforestation in the Amazon. What? And this is from November 2021. But apparently the demand for balsa wood, which is used to make turbine blades, has spiked to the point that it is causing significant damage to indigenous communities in Ecuador. So, let's see. What does the deforestation of balsa wood in Ecuador's Amazon region have to do with wind power generation in Europe? Well, there is a perverse link between the two. A drive for renewable energy has boosted global demand for a prized species of wood that grows in the world's largest rainforest. As Europe and China increase the construction of blades for wind turbines, balsa trees are being felled to accelerate an energy transition driven by the need to decarbonize the global community. So, in the indigenous territories of the Ecuadorian Amazon, people began to notice an uptick in international demand for balsa wood from 2018 onwards. Balsa is very flexible, but tough at the same time, and offers a light yet durable option for long-term wind power production. The typical blades of a wind turbine are currently around 80 meters long, and the new generation of blades can extend up to 100 meters. That means about 150 cubic meters of wood are required to build a single unit. And according to calculations by the United States National Renewable Energy Laboratory. So yeah, we're pointing out here that you have to chop down trees to get this green new energy. And apparently Ecuador is the world's main exporter of balsa wood, holding 75% of the global market. Major players include Plantable SA and Guayaquil, which has around 10,000 hectares, dedicated to the cultivation of balsa wood destined for export. With the boom in demand starting in 2018, this company and many others struggled to cope with the quantity of international orders. And this increase has led directly to the deforestation of the Amazon. Irregular and illegal logging has proliferated by those who have reached to the scarcity of wood grown for timber by chopping down the virgin balsa that grows on the islands and riverbanks of the Amazon. Impact on the indigenous people who live in the area has been as devastating as mining, oil, and rubber were in the day. So once again, now we're destroying it in order to protect the world. I mean, this is just getting really ridiculous. And, you know, it's people have this idea of, oh, we want to fix this, we want to save that. As long as we don't have to see the cost of it, you know, it's fine. And I say this all the time, but people just want it. They don't care at what cost. You know, it's the same thing with sweatshops. Everybody's known forever. Everybody's guilty of it. They know what's going on, but you're still going to buy that product. You know, some company says, we donate so-and-so to stop this or help this. Oh, okay, yeah, I feel better about it. Let me spend $20 on the product that's destroying communities around the world. Because the company said they'll donate $1 back to the community. Yeah, people don't care as long as they don't have to see it. And, you know, it goes on, you know, there's another thing I want to point out. You know, you got in Political magazine, and this is talking about the biomass industry. And this is, you know, the green energy that might be ruining the planet. So, from Northampton, North Carolina, here's a multi-billion-dollar question that could help determine the fate of the global climate. If a tree falls in a forest and then it's driven to a mill where it's chopped and chipped and compressed into wood pallets, which are then driven to a port and shipped across the ocean to be burned for electricity in European power plants, does it warm the planet? Most scientists and environmentalists say yes. By definition, clear-cutting trees and combusting their carbon emits greenhouse gases that heat up the earth. But apparently policymakers in the U.S., Congress, and governments around the world have declared that no, burning wood for power isn't a climate threat, it's actually a green climate solution. In Europe, biomass power, as it's technically called, is now counted and subsidized as zero emissions renewable energy. As a result, European utilities now import tons of wood from U.S. forests every year. And Europe's supposedly eco-friendly economy now generates more energy from burning wood than from wind and solar combined. This is all confused, all messed up. And mind you, here in the United States, they're shutting down mines and production of minerals and precious metals whilst investing in other countries to ramp it up. See, the whole idea is, like I said, they don't want you to see it. We're going to destroy places around the world to get what we need so that here at home you can feel like you're doing something special. You know, everybody forgets about, coltan, which was found in the Congo. 80% of it from the Congo. Who was used to mine that? Children. Lithium. Coming out of the Congo. Who's used to mine that? Also, children. But you drive your electric vehicle. You feel special. You feel good. You're saving the environment. Despite the fact that mining that goes into destroying the earth in order to get that. And you're talking about places around the world that don't have the same standards of protecting the environment as the U.S. does. People want to sit here and say the U.S. doesn't care about the environment. There are places around the world that don't have regulations. And the destruction they're causing is absolutely worse than anything you could project coming out of the United States. It's not rumored, it's accepted around the world that the U.S. produces some of the cleanest fuel, if not the cleanest in the world. But now we've shut it down. We're shutting it down to import fuel from places that don't have the same regulations and standards. How is that benefiting the earth in any way? How does that help the climate? And then, there was a crazy situation you have up in New Jersey, the Six Flags, which calls himself aiming to be the first solar-powered renewable energy theme park. Now, they refuse to use their parking lots because according to them, we have events in the parking lots and, we use the parking lot space. We rent it to Amazon so they can have extra warehouse space. So they park trucks in our parking lot. Also, we might decide to use the space for something else. So no. We can't put these solar panels in the parking lot, which would create a shaded parking lot. No. Their goal, it was and is to destroy the forest around them. To cut down all the trees around them and put solar panels up. Because as they put it, the solar panels we put up are going to, reduce the carbon by more than what the trees would have done. So it's okay to just get rid of the trees. Hey, genius. Trees also make oxygen. Solar panels don't make oxygen. Hey. And this is their logic. The whole idea we're going to destroy the planet to feel good about saying we are saving the planet. All this produces waste. This Green New Deal produces waste. It doesn't produce less waste. You know what they do with the turbines after they're done with the windmills? They're mostly buried in the earth. And no, they don't biodegrade. And seriously, I highly recommend you look up wind turbine graveyards and see how environmentally friendly and safe it actually is. Now, granted, the U.S. is not the greatest when it comes to environmental protection and whatnot, but damn, they do a great job more than many other places. China, India, and many other nations in Asia are not changing the way that they do production. They're not worried about their impact on the environment or the climate. They do not care. What they do care about is how much they produce. So it's almost as if like the United States is trying to lower the amount that it produces so that other places can get away with producing more. So you want to cut off your nose to spite your face. Now these Green New Deal squad policies, this crap, the Build Back Better plan, all this nonsense that they keep screaming and touting, you're feeling the pain of it now. You're feeling it in your pockets. And again, like I said, the United States cannot continue down this path. You think it's expensive now. If you think things are hard to attain now, if you think food shortages are bad now for you, they're just beginning. At this rate with these policies, if you do not live in a state that is mostly agriculture, you will be in food lines. You will be begging for a handout for the government. And so I highly recommend learning how to grow food if you do not know how already. Please do. Learn how to can. I'm not saying that things are going to get absolutely worse, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. And considering that right now the United States can't even produce baby formula, when as advanced and expansive as this nation is, having something such as a baby formula shortage is concerning. So I would be thinking twice about thinking that the United States is going to be able to sustain its citizens should a real crisis arise, considering that at the current moment they cannot feed their own homeless population. Maybe it's time to vote out those that came in a couple years ago and some of those that have been there for a while and put some new people in place that will better benefit the continuation of the United States and help make America great again. But we'll see. We'll see. But I thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.